Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. Today, we'll be reading about the USA, Israel, and Iran conflict through the lens of a Hong Kong news outlet. Its name is News. It's a digital media platform from Hong Kong, and it has got quite an international perspective. This article is written by Angelo G. Leano, and I have to tell you that he has used very strong phrases and words of condemnation towards both USA and Israel for beginning the war with the in the Middle East. So if you're quite a stern nationalist from US or Israel, you're not going to really like it at all. But I'm going to read it so that you know what he is trying to say. And this is a new form of journalism we can look into, that where you are using blunt words, blunt criticism, and you're just trying to spell out truths. So here it goes, like the drums of war are beating again, and the US and Israel stand poised to drag the world into another catastrophic conflict, this time with Iran. Beneath the rhetoric of security and defense, of war with Iran would serve the narrow, self serving interest of powerful elites in both nations while leaving a trail of devastation across the Middle East and beyond. So, you want to say that this is kind of an imperialist ambition that prioritizes power, money at the expense of human lives. So, moving on to the next paragraph, he has now used a very stern tone against the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He says that first consider Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He's a man clinging to power like a drowning sailor to driftwood. Like he says that he's embroiled in corruption scandals that threaten to end his political career. That's why he sees that war with Iran quite a lifeline to his political career. So by manufacturing a national crisis, he can rally Israelis behind him, and in this way he can postpone, evade, or accountability for his crimes. In the next line, he says that it's not a leadership. This is not a kind of leadership which is expected from the world class leaders. It's a kind of a political cowardice, using the specter of war to dodge justice while endangering the lives of millions of people on both sides of the border. The next paragraph, he goes on rant against the United States. He says that the US, meanwhile, which sees on Iran conflict to bury its own embarrassments, especially the NATO debacle in the Ukraine. He says that the West's strategic failures are miscalculated sanctions, stalled military support, and a crumbling narrative of victory that have left the US and its allies humiliated on the global stage. He's saying that the war with Iran is offering the United States a kind of a convenient distraction, redirecting public and media attention to a new Middle Eastern quagmire. He says that it's kind of a classic imperialist sleight of hand. When one war exposes your incompetence, start another to change the subject. In the next paragraph, he says that in Gaza, Israel's ongoing atrocities, like which are condemned as genocidal, would find cover under the chaos of an Iran conflict. Because you know that people are being killed daily in Gaza. Those who are actually standing in line are going for aid which is being distributed to them. The Israeli military are firing at them. So, like in this way, a new war has been begun. So, like my media attention will now shift towards it, and people who are dying in Palestine, it will happen without even less international scrutiny now. He says that while the world focuses on Israel's brutal campaign in Gaza would intensify, shielded by the fog of war. The US complicit in supplying weapons and diplomatic cover shares the blood on its hands, perpetuating a cycle of violence for geopolitical gain. In the next paragraph, he says that as the US stands divided today, it's a nation that is fractured by political polarization, economic inequality, and social unrest. And he's saying that this could be temporarily united under the tired banner of saving Israel. He said that this is a playbook as old as empire itself, like rally a divided populace round a foreign threat, suppress dissent, and distract from domestic failures. The Biden administration or any successor would wield this war as a tool to manufacture unity, even as it bankrupts nations morally and financially. Now he's talking about, he shifts his focus toward those people who are going to make the most money from the wars which are happening between the US, Iran, and Israel. He says that they are the vultures of the US military industry complex. They are the people who are going to make missiles. They are the one who are the defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, and Boeing. They're going to rake billions from the current ongoing Iranian conflict. New weapons contracts, missile defense systems, and reconstruction deals would line their pockets, all funded by the American taxpayers who sees no profit in this bloodshed. So on a regional level, a war with Iran would entrench US Israel hegemony in the Middle East. If, for instance, if they are able to contain Iran, then they could tighten their grip on the Middle Eastern region. So in this way, it's not about democracy or stability. It's about maintaining an iron-fisted dominance that serves Western and Israeli interest, no matter the cost to sovereignty or human rights. In the next paragraph, he says that perhaps most chilling is how a war with Iran aligns with Israel's expansionist ambitions, often referred to as the Greater Israel Plan. And this imperialist vision, which seeks to extend Israeli control over territories from Nile to the Euphrates, would find fertile ground in the chaos of a regional conflict. So Iran's defeat would weaken resistance to this agenda, allowing Israel, with US backing, to redraw the map of the Middle East in its favor. This is not a speculation. It's a long-term, it's a long-standing Zionist dream pursued with ruthless determination since 1948, you can say, and still is going on. And we have seen that Palestinians have been killed, the infrastructure has been destroyed, and it's been going on the daily basis without any sanctions imposed on Israel for their atrocities on the Palestinian people. So, in sum, a war with Iran would enrich the powerful, shield the corrupt, and advance the imperialist designs of the US and Israel, all while sowing death and despair. The beneficiaries, Netanyahu, the Pentagon, defense contractors, and expansionist ideologues, reveal the true face of this agenda, a cynical grab for power and profit dressed up as necessity. You can see that how he has spoken blunt truths against US and Israel for starting the war in the Middle East, for killing the innocent peoples, the Palestinians and Iranians, and like pushing the Middle East into devastation for their own interest. He has expanded on about the Zionist dream that they wanted to establish a Zionist state. He's also said that about the military defense structure of USA, who are going to make the most money from it. And these things are rarely discussed in any media outlets around the world. It tells a lot about the nation. It tells a lot about the new journalism perspective that you should speak blunt truths if they are necessary. And for the time's sake, it was quite necessary for such article to come up. But if I try to compare with the journalism of my own country, if I talk about the journalism of India, the paid Indian media, who are having no guts at all to speak a truth, lest publish any article like this. So it tells a lot of that. You have to be very courageous. You have to be blunt in truth. You must stand with those who are oppressed and not with the oppressor. So in the last paragraph, he says that in sum, a war with Iran would enrich the powerful, shield the corrupt, and advance the imperialist designs of the US and Israel, all while sowing death and despair. The beneficiaries, Netanyahu, the Pentagon, defense contractors, and expansionist ideologues, reveal the true face of this agenda. He says that the world must see through this charade and reject the march to war before it's too late. Like in this article, you can see that he has used quite a sharp tone against the USA and Israel's ongoing atrocities. Uh, so it feels like this journalism is quite a different, where you are able to criticize those who are the perpetrators without any fear. So it tells a lot about the character of the nation. It tells a lot about Hong Kong news outlet, their courage that they are able to publish this article. So if I try to compare this article with the journalism that is happening in India, there's no comparison. First of all, the Indian journalism, I don't know if it exists or it has been dead a long time ago, but I can say that Indian journalists, they are all paid, most of them. They don't speak any truths anymore. And it reflects that they don't work with the spirit, because this article, this piece by Hong Kong News has been written with a lot of spirit, a lot of courage, a lot of determination by the guy, Angelo Giuliano. Even though at the end, the news media outlet has said that they don't, it necessarily don't reflect the views of the news media outlet, but still they have given this space for the journalist to publish his content. On the other hand, you cannot see that in India it happening, because what India is doing in terms of journalism, they are just trying to do some sort of public relations campaign. Very sad on the part of the Indian journalist. maybe if they read the newspaper of their counterparts, they may realize that how journalism is being conducted throughout the world, and it's happening with a lot of vigor, intensity, and determination, a lot of spirit. So thank you everyone for watching my video, and I'll be back again with some new videos. And in the next video, I'll be discussing about this Middle Eastern conflict through the lens of the South Korean newspaper. So have a good day, and I will see you soon. Thank you.